Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's 2022 tournament game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 15, and this is a turn. It is indeed a turn. So we can see right off the bat, right? Like we were correct. There were multiple battles against Agartha. So we get to see how they went. Reportable things. We did a summoning of condors, but we already reported on that. We did some site searching in Mighty Pillars, but found nothing. So let's talk. Let's watch some battles. So Packwoods, I believe, is the kind of like the big one there. Forest of Pine is kind of an unexpected. So let's watch Amul, I believe. So, Amul. We can see he did attack with a small cluster of Sheshai Anakites. We have Deer Tribe here. We knew there was nothing in the area to really be able to do or to have happen. So we knew this was going to be a smash, right? So this is actually kind of like an interesting situation, right? They are on, it looks like guard commander, because this is, yeah, way too many turns to have held before moving, which is interesting and indicative of something, because there is almost no reason to have these Sheshai Anakites on guard commander, unless you think you're gonna get jumped by flyers, or if you have something other than what the fuck was this bless? Attack 2, strength 2, shock 10, cold 10. Actually has not managed to bless himself, really? Are you okay? I was gonna say, he blessed like 3 times and hasn't blessed himself yet. There we go. That changes things. That changes things a lot. Because that is regeneration and blood bond. Fuck. Attack 2, shock 10, cold 10, regeneration, strength 2, blood bond is a problem. A very, very intense problem. One, I am not entirely sure how we are going to best, because at 5 regen for these Anakites, I believe it's 5 regen, and Blood Bond, I don't know that we can kill them with every single military unit that we have to throw at them. I don't think we would kill these 5, which does not bode well. That being said, these guys, we can kill the shit out of them. Even regenerated and blood bonded, we can kill the crap out of these Kohens. We just gotta get lucky. Oh, no. So, unfortunate. But, so that is a scenario, right? Like, leadership like this can be killed. But I don't know that we have the opportunity. I honestly don't know how we, at this current point in time, kill these Sheshai Anakites. And that's a big, big, big problem. So yeah. Fuck. Alright, that's a loss there. Is Packwoods? I think Forest of Pine is... Yeah, Forest of Pine is this. So this is strange, right? This is just a, you know, a leftover mercenary unit, I believe. Right? Just the captain. Because I think this captain leads the Amazon archers, right? The crystal Amazon archers, if I'm remembering correctly. Looks like all of those are dead, and Ashdod just decided to fling this guy in here, just on the off chance of maybe I only have like 1 PD or something like that, which, hey, very fair, right? Especially if if you paid for him, you paid for him. But that is no dice there, so we lost in Amul, we won in Forest of Pines. See how Packwoods goes. Fuck. It's a problem. This is a big problem. Okay. We know what we have, right? We have a large mass of primarily Condor warriors, some actual Condors, some Hatan Runa, some Alkak spearmen, a few Supayas. We have some Cynocephalian hunters in here. We've got some woodsmen, whatever. They're just a screen. What is on the battlefield here? Very specifically, we've got a fair number of Ahiman Anakites, right? And then we've got the Sheshai Anakites, which have Berserk. We've got a Adon in here. We've got an Emite in here. Astral Death, so maybe some Ethereal or something like that. Have anybody else? Some Edomites, some Gileadites. Is there not a prophet in here? Here we go. This guy. Raphael the Prophet. Okay, so that is going to be how he guarantees everyone. Alright. Let's see how badly this goes. Divine Blessing is going to come out from both sides. We get some Animate Dead on the field, which is good for him. Sermons of Courage coming out. Heavenly Strike's going to start coming down. Not really going to do much to the enemy, or to the sacreds of the enemy. That was a decent drop, though. We instantly obliterated that caster, right? And there is an Adon here, and a Prophet here. And if there aren't a bunch of units grouped together, we actually can potentially kill some stuff. Okay. What matters here, what absolutely matters here is killing these two commanders and routing the enemy based off of... Oh, our losses are horrendous already. Routing them based off of... Okay, there's the Prophet, dead. That's good for us, regardless. This Adon is sticking around. Oh, he's been stunned. That's good. We're not doing very much to him. Ah. Oh, we got some decent hits there. I need that Adon dead. Ah, my goodness. They're coming back at us. That's horrendous. He's dead. They should break. Doesn't matter. I said it. I said it earlier. I don't think, not grouped up, my entire army couldn't kill 5 Sheshai Anakites. And there are 6 here that are berserking. Even though all of these guys, their stats are pretty low because they're routing, they're still going to chop through the rest of my units. Cynocephalian hunters coming in. Yeah, we're not doing anything to them. because of the blood bond and regeneration, we don't do enough damage to cut through them. With maybe with something like Strength of Giants, we would have been able to do so. They are routing. The problem with them routing is these Sheshai Anakites are not going to rout because they are berserk. And am I going to rout, or am I going to get myself killed? This Inca's not routing. We've lost 95% of the HP that we had, and this Inca is not going to rout. Because he's 18 morale. I'm not routing, motherfuckers. He's also continuing to have Heavenly Strike this entire time, even though they have Shock 10. I guess still technically the armor negating. Yeah, doesn't matter. That was a horrific loss. Horrific. We had a moment there where we might have popped the leaders, but no. Yeah. Regeneration Blood Bond horribly destroyed that for us. That's really bad. I'll say it right now, right? That's probably game over for us. Ay. Now, we did do some damage to Ashdod back, right? Like, we did kill that Adon, we did kill their Prophet, we did kill this Emite. But the rest of the losses are pretty superficial, right? 8 Edomites, doesn't care about that. 3 Gileadites, doesn't care about that. 6 Long Dead, don't care about that. 4 Long Dead Rephites, don't care about that. What matters there are the Sheshai Anakites and the Ahiman Anakites, and he only lost 1 Ahiman, and none of the Sheshais. So, he will be stalled for a turn, basically, because of losing the commanders. But it's going to be a simple matter of just, like, sending an Adon or a Kohen or something like that to go pick those Ahiman Anakites and Sheshai Anakites up. And then he's going to be running down my throat. And that's, I mean, we lost the vast majority of our power. What escaped? We got 12 friendly units escaped, so we maybe got some of our Condor Warriors or a Condor back. We lost an Inca, lost all the rest of the... We lost a crazy amount. That is really bad. And I don't say it lightly, right? Like, I'm not like, oh, that's the game, we're done, blah, 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 blah. We're gonna fight on. We're gonna do absolutely everything that we can to penalize whoever comes for us. But immediately, my thoughts are going to shift from... they're gonna shift from winning an early war, right? Or bloodying someone's eye and trying to get them off me, to punitive, right? Like, what can I do to the person who comes for me to make it not to defeat them, right? But to hurt them as much as I can along the way, right? So that is a bit of a bummer, but honestly, not what not unexpected. It was expected, right, that we were going to get attacked by multiple people. So far, we've only gotten attacked by one person, and one person has been enough. This is kind of what I was worried about when we first saw that Ashdod was next to us. Ashdod is classically that kind of the middle-aged nation of take a hell bless or take a pretty good bless and fucking roll someone in year 2, right? Year 1, year 2. When we saw Ashdod's bless initially, I was very surprised, right? And pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, thank God, right? We have a chance. But no, it was just a dormant. So the regen blood bond with the other things is more than enough to roll us. Ashdod could run at us with, basically what he had with the Kohen. If he did that with an Adon instead, that Adon would be all but unkillable for us. So, especially if the Adon had any gear. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. This was actually, all things told, pretty lucky for us, right? Managing to snipe these commanders it's going to delay Ashdod's press into us by 2 turns, basically, because he'll have to send commanders to go pick up these individuals, and then he can head in, right? Whereas this turn, he would just be able to head in if he had commanders. So this is actually very lucky. This is a good outcome with what we had versus what we were facing. Which is unfortunate, right? Because that basically means Ashdod can roll me on his own. The question is whether or not Ashdod thought he could roll me on his own. Because if other people are going to come in, that is a different consideration, right? And I don't know, right? If I was Ashdod and I knew I had this, I might not have told anyone about Nazca. I might have just been like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna fight against Nazca, but not given specifics or not tried to do alliances or anything like that, and just looked for an opportunity like this, because then you get more of the spoils. But if the plan has been like working with Agartha or Van or something like that from the very beginning, and it's just Ashdod is the vanguard, right? Then there are going to be very different situations on how we can react. So that is going to be what our plan is for the rest of this probably going to be short game. So battles for the turn. That is first thing to report. Battles for the turn. 17 minutes in. 1 win and 2 losses versus Hinnom. And oh boy, what losses they were. Loss they were, really, honestly. The first loss was just kind of whatever. We didn't really care about that. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Let's move on. What other things do we have going on? We have an event in our capital. Surely this event will be it'll be like 2K, and then we can just buy a bunch of mercenaries, and we can fight back and do a bunch of stuff, right? Yeah, okay. Events this turn. In Nazca, we had Unrest 18, minus population 1,480, and minus 105 gold as a blight strikes the land. Oof. Big oof. When it rains, it fucking pours. My god. Alright then, evocation rituals are still cheaper. Our Palisades is up in the Mighty Pillars, although I don't necessarily think that's going to matter. And we do have a Royal Malquis, there is that. Good to know. Okay. Holy shit. That was a bad turn. Let's talk about what's happening. Well, we have lost both Amul and Packwoods to Ashdod, right? That's a problem. We also see that there is an army, an Agarthan army, that just took the Royal Green. Now, technically, the Royal Green had been taken over by, like, some Mandragoras. So, it's possible that Agartha is just, retaking their land from Indies. I feel like it's more likely... Oh, we didn't watch that. Let's watch this. My bad. Sorry. I got distracted by all the Hinnom stuff. Look at this. We've got some Agarthan infantry. We've got some crossbows. We've got some mercenaries. We've got some light infantry. And we get to see our first little batch of magma children. Yeah. Off on the side. Hell yeah. Awesome. And they're gonna just flambe these fucking mannequins and mandragoras. Mandragora! For any of those .hack fans out there. Okay, cool. Actually took a few losses there. but, you know, it's pretty typical. Oofa doofa. I find it extremely likely that Agartha is working with Ashdod, and this army is moving into our lands, right? So, what are we doing this turn? Well, we're kind of just doing whatever we really can, right? We are going to ping Packwoods with our werewolf, just because there is the chance that he does not get or can't get a commander out there. I think it's a very low chance. So we are on hold and retreat. If he can't get a commander out there, right? I say if he can't get a commander out there, he could just put in a PD, and that would take care of it, right? They wouldn't route there. But not everyone thinks to do that, right? So there is the possibility, right, like that we route them and buy ourselves an extra turn just based off of the fact that they don't have a commander. I don't expect that to happen, but this is really a random Hail Mary. We can't really... The werewolf isn't going to benefit us for much of anything. We could get some more wolves to kind of like hold up the fort, but their siege defense is 0.1, so I don't really think that's going to matter in the long run, right? So we're doing that. Mighty Pillars is dead to us, basically. There's no way that we can defend it. There's not really any way that we can defend anything, period, now. So, we're gonna march with what military strength we can outwards. And we have everything set to retreat, assuming that if we get hit, we will hopefully try to retreat into Nazca, if at all possible, right? We're basically just in the mode of save whatever we can. And we'll just have to abandon the fortification, which is unfortunate. At least we haven't put a temple up there. That saved us some money. Great, fantastic. This is kind of why we didn't build infrastructure earlier, right? Because we were like, we didn't have enough money to really afford it, and two, was pretty sure I was going to get attacked and just give away infrastructure, basically. So, at least it's just this. We are basically going to be consolidating everything that we can, right? So all of these units, I say all of these units, a fair amount of these units, we are pulling in to Nazca. Most of these Haten Runa, we are pulling into Nazca. We could try to make some Apus, and that's actually what we're going to be doing. We could try to make some Apus and take these Haten Runa and start raiding around at Ashdod, fly over the heads of their incoming armies, and just try to be annoying, do some damage where we can. I'm not sure that is what we are going to do, period, right? Completely, but that might be what we try to do, just to be annoying and harry Ashdod as they kill us, right? Again, we're just looking at ways to be punitive now. We're definitely dead, okay? So, that's an option, but it's not an option if all of these guys get killed. So we're bringing them into our capital this turn, right? Our Malquis are going to stay out here in Bara and try to continue capturing more Haten Runa, because maybe we get another turn of capturing Haten Runa in. Because the alternative is, instead of harrying, these guys actually have a siege defense of 1. So they actually can hold up walls a fair amount. So if we have a lot of them, it can take a long time for someone to crack our capital that way, right? So we're looking at that as an option. My goodness. Painful. That is mostly what we're doing from a movement standpoint, and we don't really have any infrastructure or anything like that happening this turn. So let's go ahead and jump into Recruitment. Recruitment for this turn, we've got 3 Apus, 1 Karaka, 1 Huron Priest, 5 Sun Guard, and 1 Aukak Axeman. That is not correct, because we do not have a Huron Priest. We had a Huron Priest last turn. Yeah, that's just in from the last thing. Let me cut that out. So, cancel the Huron Priest. Everything else should be the same, then. Because we're getting a Karaka there, an Apu here, more Apus, and some Sun Guard. Right? So... let's talk about that very briefly. The Apus we've already talked about, right? They're there to lead forces of Hatan Runa out to potentially harass and maybe minorly inconvenience Ashdod by taking a few provinces here or there. Alternatively, they're just more commanders to help us hold up our walls. The Sun Guard, right, have a better chance of doing anything to the Ahiman Anakites or Sheshai Anakites than other things, because they have higher base damage, and we are working our way up to Strength of Giants, right? So giving our Sun Guard +4 strength on top of +4 strength, right, means that they're hitting for 26. 26 can definitely deal some damage to Anakites, right? This is one of the only things that I can think of that might actually be able to do something, but it's not going to be enough, right? If we had 40 Sun Guard right now, it might be a thing, right? Because we could get another 4 or 5 every turn, get up to 50 or 60 maybe before the next big confrontation. Make sure we get enough Strength of Giants casters, and then be swinging real hard, right? But even then, we're going to be swinging against 50 HP units that have Blood Bond and Regeneration, so it's unlikely that we would win in a, a 30 or so Anakites versus 50 or so Sun Guard, but we might pop commanders way faster, and that's an option. So this is something that we're just gonna try to do. I don't think that it's going to amount to much, because again, we're starting at a base. We do not have any Sun Guard really. If we can get up to maybe 4 turns of Sun Guard before someone's on our capital, then maybe it'll matter. Maybe we can get like 15 to 20-ish Sun Guard, and that'll be nice. But honestly, probably not going to be that big of a deal. Okay? And then all the rest of it's kind of whatever. The Axeman is kind of like the alternative, right? The Spearman, not really going to matter too terribly much. That's 18 damage on a lance charge. Higher if we get Strength of Giants on them, obviously, right? But the Hatchet is base 15 and would be 19 with Strength of Giants. So a bit of a... The issue with lances is they're real great if you're killing everything on the charge. If you're not killing everything on the charge, you want the higher, more consistent damage rather than the higher initial damage, right? So Runa Axeman is the route that we would go there. Okay, what else do we got going on? Special recruits, 2 Supaya and 35 Hatan Runa this turn. Pretty simple there. Nothing big. The Supaya are not a... Supaya versus Agartha? Great, fantastic, right? Supaya versus the Anakites of Ashdod? Not gonna matter, right? Anakites have magic weapons inherently, and generally have pretty good MR, right? So the Supayas actually don't do very much damage because of their Spectral Spear, because magic resistance to do half damage, right? So those aren't a very good matchup, period. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? And yeah, the last little thing to really report before we just talk randomly is trade. I'm sending 9 water gems this turn. Notice I didn't really talk about what I'm getting in return for it. I'm not really expecting a whole lot in return for it. I initially was going to get a water bracelet from Yis. And Yis is at war with Oceania and Pelagia. I think actually there's a 1v1v1 going on. I think. I'm not positive. But Yis is the only friendly neighbor that I have. So I'm just kind of being friendly to them. The water gems aren't going to do anything for me. This is kind of like a potential future investment, basically like a, hey, if you could use these water gems, here you go. I might ask you for something in the very near future, that type of situation, right? So, yeah, anyways, we've got 9 water gems heading off to Yis. And that's pretty much it. Now I could alchemize those gems into astral pearls and then do astral pearls into condor warriors or something like that, but that's honestly or not condor warriors, just condors. I don't think that's gonna matter. We saw condors there. Condors are not going to be effective against regeneration bloodborne or blood bond anakites. They just don't do enough damage. 20 damage is just not enough with Strength of Giants, added. Well, I say Strength of Giants added. 16 damage based off of our Bless definitely isn't enough, right? Because if we check this, right? So we've got Sheshai Anakites sitting at 15, right? 17 when they're berserking, and then the Ahiman Anakites are sitting at 19, right? So we're doing bare chip damage, if any damage at all. Most often, probably not doing any damage at all, really, right? So the regen and blood bond basically makes that no damage. If we get to Strength of Giants, right, and add another 4 damage onto that so that the condors are at a 20, that does change things a little bit, right? 20 with the DRN, DNR. Is it DRN or DNR? I can never remember. Whatever. That gives us a better chance of actually getting some damage through, but at that point, what we have needs to be very specific, right? Because if we have a bunch of condors in around our targets and they're hitting for 20 versus us having some Sun Guard around our targets and they're hitting for 28, right? Even if the condors are hitting twice, it doesn't matter if you hit twice if you're not dealing damage or if you're only dealing like 1 or 2 damage versus if you're hitting once and dealing 8 or 10 damage, right? So we kind of have to we have to be careful about what are we actually going to have at the final battle that we are going to have. That being said, we probably will still be alchemizing things into condors in the near future, but 9 water gems I don't think was going to make that much of a difference, right? And, I'm trying to help Yis out, basically, at this point. So anyways... Oh, well, I say this. I say it with vagaries. This is also kind of like a down payment on research items, potentially, right? Like, if Yis has the ability to toss us some owl quills or something like that in the very near future, then that could matter, right? Even getting just like +6, +12, +18, 1 to 3 owl quills, or heaven forbid some more, could get us to different breakpoints on our research. And different breakpoints on our research are going to matter, right? Because they're going to determine what we could do. One of the things that we could actually do is if we could stall out until Horde of Skeletons or heaven fucking... If we could stall out until Horde of Skeletons, I don't think it would matter anyways, right? Because of Sheshai Anakite Berserkers. We would just like neutral, right? But if we could stall out to something like Rigor Mortis, that actually would matter. But that is all but impossible conceptually. Like, we would have to have a bunch of research items, and we would have to be recruiting mages, like Huron priests from here on, and we just can't really afford it. So it's very unlikely that's actually going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? We do have QC the Royal Malquis, by the way, who is an Heir 3 now. Very cool. We could be getting some Supayas, but actually I think research is more important right now, and that's 25 research, so we're going to go for that. Like I said, the Supayas just aren't a good matchup against Ashdod. They're a good matchup against Agartha, but we don't know that Agartha is going to be who we're fighting necessarily. And when I say who we're fighting, I'm basically talking about like a cap defense situation. That's what this is boiled down into. Like, if Agartha attacks us and Ashdod attacks us, we're going into cap defense mode. If Agartha doesn't attack us, then we might try to raid around in Ashdod. If Van also attacks us, we're done, right? The banking here is basically, I'm hoping that Ashdod knew or thought that they could take us on their own from the very beginning and didn't try to rustle up allies. And I'm also kind of banking on the idea that Ashdod is going to be greedy and not share this battle report, right? Because if Ashdod's like, oh, I just creamed him, I don't want to tell anyone about this, I want all of this land for myself, right? Which is honestly what I would do in this situation. Like, if you beat someone this bad, you don't tell anyone, right? You don't tell anyone, because everyone who knows is going to be like, okay, I want a piece of that, right? So if you don't tell anyone, you increase your chances of getting as much of the spoils as possible. So I'm kind of banking on that, because if that is the case, then maybe we can raid against Ashdod, annoy them, get some research, and try to take a different fight with them. Another thing aside from enchantment that I'm considering, right, is potentially running up evocation. Because if we can get to Shadow Bolt is okay, but if really Shadow Blast, right, this is high damage, armor negating, relatively big AoEs, right? Area of effect 6+. And if we can if we can start a battle where we're lobbing, you know, if we have a bunch of Huron priests and maybe like a Koya or two in our god, if we're lobbing like 5 or 6 or 7 of these, that could actually do a bunch of damage, even to something like Ahiman or Sheshai, right? To those Anakites. So that is also a potential option that we go. But for right now, we're heading for the Horde of Skeletons concept. Foul Vapors is also a potential option. I don't think against Ashdod. I think they have inherent... No. Okay. So Foul Vapors is also potentially an option, right? It would obliterate all of our non-sacred stuff, but, you know, like, regeneration is going to cut through it, right? We're not going to be able to kill the regenerating things, which is most of the things. But if we can get them to rout, right, the Foul Vapors absolutely will, the poison stacks will kill them on the backside, right? The issue there still being the Sheshai Anakites. But if we have harder hitting, like, Sun Guard, to kill the Sheshai Anakites once everything else is routed, that's a potential option. It's ugly, right? Like, everything that we have to say and do now is ugly, and it's unlikely to work out well for us. Honestly, the best hope that we kind of have is, so maybe I need to take back my earlier statement. The best hope we kind of have of hurting someone is for that someone to not be Ashdod, right? If Ashdod brings in Agartha or Van or both or whatever, I would have a better chance staging a cap defense against one of them and bloodying their nose than I would against Ashdod, probably. Either way, I'm dead, so it doesn't matter, right? It's just now in my mind, I'm sitting here going like, okay, who's going to be the one who comes for the cap? What can I do against them? How painful can I make it for them? Etc. etc. So that's it. That's pretty much it. It's been fun. I say it's been fun. Like, it's been fun. Bye, everybody. That's the series. That is our shot at winning, right? We are definitely. You lose that much in a single fight at turn 15, you're basically out of the game, right? In some squirrel rando world, we are able. By the way, it's Ulm down here. We already knew that. We are able to talk someone else into getting in on this action, right? Like Ulm to fight Agartha, or whoever's over here to fight Ashdod, right? But even in those scenarios, we're still dead, right? Like, there's almost nothing. We just don't have the military strength now to probably do anything. So yeah. We will try. You know, now I have the bargaining power of being like, hey, I am a crippled Nazca, right? Like, my power is broken, so you don't have to view me as a threat. I will do what I can against this person or that person, or to help you, or what have you, right? You know, take advantage of individuals being focused on me. So we'll see what hubbub I can kick up. We'll see what I can actually manage to have happen. I don't expect much, but fingers crossed. Maybe we'll pull some shenanigans and inconvenience someone on our way out, and that'll be that. So it's been a long turn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.